Welcome to the Real Estate Strategies Podcast, a place for conversations that matter in order to obtain infinite wealth. I'm your host, Ken McElroy. This show is meant to keep you updated on what is going on in real estate while getting you on track to have infinite wealth and financial freedom. This episode, as well as all the others, can be downloaded on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and various other platforms so that you're able to listen on the go. To get my weekly newsletter where we keep these conversations going and explore the trending topics in real estate today, please go to www.kenmcelroy.com/news. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey everybody, I'm here with Courtney Reagan, who many of you may recognize at CNBC. She's a senior retail reporter, and part of her coverage of the retail sector is she interviews these CEOs of Walmart, Target, Macy's, Kohl's, Home Depot, Gap, eBay, and many, many others. And obviously, as you guys know, they're the ones who have the kind of the pulse on what's happening in the commercial real estate space. She also contributes to the New York Stock Exchange, and NASDAQ, and the New York Mercantile Exchange. Courtney, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. So a lot of retailers are already incorporating the digital shopping into their physical stores. As you know, as you pointed out, that, sometimes it's, it was like as a novelty almost, now they can order some online and pick it up at the store. So things have really changed. What are some other things that you're seeing now in this brick and mortar stores from a digital standpoint?
Yeah, I think, the buy online, pick up in store is something, BOPIS is the term that a lot of retailers were trying to figure out for quite some time. And it sounds like a pretty simple thing, but a lot of time online inventory does not match in-store inventory. And so you have to make sure your website is up and running to do that. You have to make sure that you can pull that inventory from the shelf quickly to fulfill that online order before someone in the store grabs it. So I think it took a while to figure that out and get that right. And then during the pandemic, curbside was a new thing. Hey, don't worry about it. You don't even have to come into the store. We'll put it in your car. Well, Target actually was already doing that in advance of COVID hitting, and Walmart was as well when it comes to groceries. So they may sound like similar innovations, and they are, but it took an awful lot of work to get that far. I think retailers are really wanting consumers to interact with their apps while they're in store. They may be able to, if you have your notifications on and your geolocator on, they may be able to push you notifications or sale items. If you're standing in the shoe aisle for a while, but you haven't really interacted with the product, there is technology where they can push you a 20% off shoes because they know you're standing there and maybe you just need that extra little push. Some might call it creepy, but it might work. A lot of people
it is all about data.
They're willing to give up their data or their personal information if they get something in return that they believe is valuable. So I think, using the technology of the geolocation to really try to personalize offers for shoppers is something important that a lot of retailers are trying to figure out, again, without bordering on creepy.
Yeah. That's for sure. So I know over the last 10 years or so, we've been kind of seeing developments that are mixed use, retail, residential. I've personally done some. I'm actually doing some right now. We've seen them, in a master plan. We've seen, retail under residential and all kinds of scenarios. Do you think we're going to be seeing more of these residential shopping centers, kind of mixed use stuff around the country?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I mean, I think more people are more pressed for time than ever before. I guess I should say in normal times, not when we're in COVID times and we're all at home. But for those of us that will be commuting again and picking up children and running around to activities, I think having things compact is just something that is very, very valuable to many people. And we're only going to get busier. And technology does enable our lives to get easier, but it also sort of add more layers of complication at the same time. And so I think mixed use retail is very attractive for many people, not just in the cities, of course, but also in the suburbs. I know that there are many malls out there that are not doing as well as other malls. And I've, talked to folks that have looked at at mixed use plans. Maybe we build a condo at one end where an anchor store goes out, and then maybe we reuse the middle of it and it does become more food, more grocery. There's doctor's offices, there's dentist offices, things that become much less mall-like. So it's a mixed-use property that used to look like a mall and kind of just looks like a mini city right now. I think that's a very smart way to go about it. And at least, from the developers that I've talked to, they're trying to push in that direction. Will it be successful? I don't know. Those projects do take a long time. And so I think sometimes your ideas initially don't always end up panning out by the time the project is done in the exact way you had planned. But I think it's a possibility that we should.
Yeah, I agree with you. What we found is it's a win-win for both. Like we'll have a property with 300 or 400 people in it, and if they can walk across the parking lot, or just have a short walk to a coffee shop or a gym, or even to the store, because they do go to those things anyway. It's just they're now avoiding jumping in the car and all that. So I agree with you. So right now we're going to take a quick break. After this, we'll be back with Courtney Reagan right after this. I wanted to let you know about a course that has the power to transform your financial future, and that's my real estate investing master course. This is your opportunity to learn from my years of experience, including my successes and setbacks, all in one course that you can take at your own pace. It will give you the tools and the knowledge to help you achieve long-term success. The price of the master course is about to go up, so don't delay. Go to kenmcelroy.com to start your real estate education with me today. Okay, hey, we're back. So, Courtney, what do you think about shopping centers will do during this, back to in-person shopping? Where do you see all these headed?
So I definitely think one thing that's pretty obvious, but should probably be said, is there's going to be different sanitation practices with the plexiglass, with the masks. I think, some retailers are trying to figure out exactly what they want to do with returns. Of course, the science is, sort of still mixed about contact. Is it contact or airborne? But regardless, I think it's just about a feeling. You want your shoppers to feel safe. And so I think the shopping experience may feel a little different when we go back, but hopefully it's done in a way that makes us feel as safe as possible. But I think because so many people tried online shopping, either in ways they hadn't before, in categories they hadn't before, or in volumes that they hadn't before, you really need to give people a reason to go out to the store, especially if you sell what I would call a commodity product. I mean, I always just use the example of like laundry detergent. I'm not sure you can get me excited to go into Target to buy laundry detergent when I know exactly what it's going to look like, feel like, smell like when it gets to my door online. It's just a heck of a lot easier than me getting in the car. But if I do get in the car to get that laundry detergent, wouldn't it be nice if you had some categories that surprised me that I didn't intend on buying, which is something that Target has done really well, especially with their own private label brand. So without going too far off on a tangent, I think you do have to give customers something perhaps that they weren't expecting, and you have to give them something that feels like worthwhile to make that trip. Whether it's Santa Claus in stores and free pictures during the holidays for families, or whether it's a DJ playing music with the launch of a new product line. It may sound cheesy, but it may just add that little extra something that makes the trip not feel like such a pain, especially if you're rushing around. And I think I live in New York City, and I often forget that folks in the middle of the country and in Ohio, where I grew up, often drive right past a mall or right past a shopping center on their way home from work. And so for them, it's not necessarily inconvenient to stop in and get something. And in many cases, it's faster than even ordering from Amazon in 2-day or same day. If you really need shampoo, you really need it right now. That experience better be quick and easy, because it's a commodity product. So don't make it a pain for me. But if I'm going to shop for something that's more special, a special occasion dress or some jewelry, there's got to be a level of service. And I would say that also brings up an extra level of complication. Without going too deep into the weeds, we know that while unemployment is high, labor is also in short supply for many of these retailers and restaurants as well. And that's really tough, because you can have a CEO and an executive team with a really great vision, but at the end of the day, it's that frontline worker that's serving the customer. And if they don't provide a great service or a great experience, then what's the point in the overall strategy? And so I think that's why we're hearing more retailers talk about how they're taking care of their employees, because they realize, I mean, that's the final linchpin to getting that sale.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's the entire reason a lot of people even come back, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, really, really good. Okay, so now let's talk about cashless, digital. Obviously, that's where we all had to go, right? We had to go cashless during the pandemic. So, we went from, slowly getting there to boom. And so do you see that trend sticking around?
I do. I think whether it's the contactless payment with a credit card where you just tap and go, whether it's Venmo or Square, these different, which also are very helpful for some of the smaller retailers when it comes to transaction fees. I do think that it's going to be something that will stick around. We talked to the Electronic Transaction Association to get some numbers when I was kind of trying to figure out this exact question a couple months ago. And I was trying to figure out contactless payments or cashless payments and how much that had gone up. And it had gone up, of course, very much since 2020, or since 2019, but it's continued to stay higher as people have continued to shop. So once you feel at ease with it, I think it will stay. I'm sure there were some people that were reluctant to put a credit card on their phone. I mean, think about how much your phone has, all the data, and it has your credit card, it has all your pictures. I mean, my gosh, it's like the most valuable item in your possession. But as long as you have a sense of security and ease, I mean, why would you have to go back to cash? But you have to get there. Of course, you have to be able to feel comfortable with it in the first place.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I know, a lot of this kind of moves to that, removal of the person too, right? The cashier. And that kind of leads us to this next question, the bonus question. And that is, we're starting to see a lot more AI integrated technology, move into the in-person experience with things like digital kiosks and self-checkouts. How do you see that developing, over the next few years? Because right now we have this labor issue, as you know. We have the cashless and the AI thing happening, for safety too. And it's going to be really, really interesting. How do you see this rolling out?
So much like I believe that the most successful retailers have some sort of physical presence and some sort of online presence and use the two together, I believe the same thing when you're talking about a checkout technology service in stores. I know it's probably, not another thing retail wants to invest in, to have to give everybody everything all the time. But I think that's the key to winning. I mean, even just anecdotally, I know sometimes if I go to a store and I have to return this item, or I have a question about this, I want to put part of it on a gift card and part of it on this, I can't go to self-checkout. That's just going to be too complicated. I don't know how to use that machine. So I'll wait in line for a person. But if I'm just running in to grab some Tylenol and toilet paper, I can very easily use the self-checkout, and I'm happy to have it. I was at a drugstore just yesterday and just buying two very simple items like that, and it didn't have self-checkout. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to wait. But other times I need to wait in the line. I need a person. And so I just truly think the answer is it's going to have to be a hybrid model. Hybrid is the new word for everything, for work, for our customers, for the way that we shop, for the way that we want our service. Different situations are just going to call for different needs and use cases. And I think best retailers are going to have to find a way to invest in both.
Yeah. Because some people do, as you said, want that quick and easy thing, and some people want the experience. And I think it's going to be a hybrid for a while, and then it'll be what it'll be, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So guys, if you're not watching Courtney, you got to get on and check her stuff out, because she really does interview the brightest of people in this industry. And a lot of them are going to tell you great information on what's happening in the commercial space. So Courtney, thank you so much for your time. I can't thank you enough for your insight, your wisdom, and of course, all that you do to deliver such great information. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Ken.
You bet. We'll talk to you soon.